Have you heard about the need to raise your vibration to manifest or attract things into your life or even ascend into 5D? And yet, maybe you don't know, what does it mean to raise my vibration? What is exactly vibration, anyways? And how can my vibration change? So, in this episode, I'm going to share a little bit of insight about what that actually means and why that's a part of you becoming your most authentic self, manifesting things in your life, and ascending into 5D. So, stay tuned for that. Welcome to the Soul Alignment Mentor Podcast. I'm your host, Angie, and I'm inviting you to explore the depths of self-sabotage, limiting mindsets, and the beliefs that hinder our progress in life. Through intuitive messages I receive from my spirit team, I share profound insights to help you live authentically and break free from these limitations. Join me now as we uncover all the keys to living your best life. Welcome back. My name's Angie, and I'm your Soul Alignment Mentor, and I bring intuitive messages from my spirit team to help you align with your most authentic and highest self. So if you have been around the spiritual awakening community or the spiritual side of any of the platforms, honestly, you probably heard about raising your vibration and changing your energy to manifest or to ascend into 5D and to shift into higher consciousness or to move into Christ consciousness, like all these different things that go around about your energy field and vibration. But you might not have maybe insight or understanding of what that actually means. I know that there's a lot of things out there that say, do this or do that or change this or whatever, but then actually doing it, it's like, what does that mean? Like, how do I raise my vibration? And so what I want to share with you today is a couple insights about what is vibration and how do you raise your vibration. First of all, vibration is just our original energetic field. And one of the things I teach in my Raise Your Vibration course that I actually just started with a group this last week is that we are actually energy. We are made of energy down to every single little molecule, every single little part of our DNA is energy. Without energy, we cannot survive. Energy is what keeps us uh, alive, basically. And it's interesting when we have really hard days or we feel out of alignment or we're struggling in some kind of way. Isn't it interesting that we might say, man, my energy is really low today, or I'm just feeling unmotivated, or I'm feeling off, or I'm just tired. Like I don't have a lot of energy to put into something. And that's because we are literally energetic beings. And so what is the interesting part of this is humanity has kind of been vibrating at a certain frequency for many, many thousands of years, along with the earth. The earth has also been vibrating at a certain frequency and vibration. And so as this ascension is happening, as a natural awakening is happening globally with humanity, there is this kind of rebalancing of our energy system going on. And that's kind of pulling us towards a higher frequency or a new vibration, rising our vibration so that this is opening up our energetic field to then kind of move through some of the barriers that have been around us energetically as far as like spiritual comprehension, understanding, and moving into a higher consciousness, maybe what we would even call Christ consciousness. And so as there's a natural movement happening with the vibration, and if you are awakened in any type of way, you will be feeling this. It might come and go. It might kind of linger sometimes. I know that in this last month, today is, what is today? March 28th, 2025. I have felt my energy shifting. And I go through these waves up and down. And I've noticed this over the last several years that there's moments where I have high frequency and energy, and then my energy kind of feels low. And a lot of my clients will come to me and ask and say, man, my energy's so low. I feel drained. I don't feel like I'm being myself, or it's hard to, to be authentic right now, or maybe my gifts are shut off, or whatever is going on in that frequency. And they'll often ask me, like, am I going backwards? Am I, all the work that I've done, is that for nothing? Am I going back into a lower frequency? But here's the thing is, once you've shifted into a vibration and a new frequency, you maintain that. Now, there's a little bit of up and down in that, but that frequency will always be there because you have moved into that frequency. It's just going to be taking some time to really steady yourself in that frequency. And there might be dips and changes and stuff that help you to acclimate into that energy, but you're not going to go backwards, because the difference between the frequency that you move into and the frequency that you came from is you can tell a difference. When I dip down into a lower vibration, such as if I start having like negative emotions or negative feelings about myself, or if I go into shame, or if I let fear get into my belief system, or I start forgetting who I am, I can feel that shift happen. But because I have shifted into a new frequency, when that happens, I know that it's not necessarily me going backwards or forgetting who I am or losing the frequency that I have worked to get to. It's the universe, is my higher self, is the essence of myself pulling me into something that might still be lingering in my energy that needs to be released. Just because I've worked on something and I've released a karmic cycle or a trauma or a belief or a fear or something that had kept me in a low vibration through shame, doesn't mean that I have completely cleared everything out regarding that belief. And so the universe will allow us to have these moments of shift where we kind of reflect back inward to see, is there more work I need to do on this particular area? But what's happened sometimes is we will fight that shift. We will fight what the universe is trying to teach us in that moment, where if I start to feel bad, then I just go into shame, or I become a victim of that feeling instead of looking at it as an opportunity to dive deeper into something that can raise my vibration even higher. So, raising your vibration is simply allowing yourself to release things that hold you into a low frequency. So, I will post up here the vibrational scale of emotions Dr. David Hawkins came up with, of emotions and energy. And David Hawkins talks about and teaches that once you rise into around the 200, 250 frequency and you maintain that you have shifted from that lower energy field into rising your vibration. And the way that he explains this is that once you move into that around a 200 hertz frequency and you maintain that, you actually start to help awaken the consciousness of other humans around you, because your frequency is vibrating at such a rate that it starts to impact the things around you. And this is where you might start to see your manifestations coming a little bit quicker. This is where you might start to let go of some of the fear or an anxiety, or you might have more of a belief that the universe really is taking care of me and I don't have to worry about where my needs are going to get met, because I always have what I need. Everything I need is already within me, and I just have to trust that. But until you get to that point, you might be working out of some of the lower frequencies and vibrations of fear and confusion and grief and anger and shame and all those things. And according to David Hawkins, shame is almost basically like death. So that is one of the hardest feelings to work through, is that shameful feeling. But once you move through shame, and maybe you let yourself get angry, maybe you let yourself start to face the fear, maybe you let yourself open up to that next frequency and you start feeling it, and you let your emotions be seen and heard, and you kind of let go of some of that victimhood of being a victim of your emotions, that's when your vibration can start to shift and rise, because then you are letting go of one frequency to move into another frequency. And so this is a gradual process, and we can't move from shame into courage into enlightenment. That is not healthy for us, and that is not going to benefit us in any kind of way. And it's interesting because I've had people and I've had clients, and I've seen it from other people as well, where they had kind of gone in and tried to force a shift in their energy or a vibration. And what happened was they either went into like a spiritual psychosis, or they started to get fearful of some of the things they were experiencing. Because here's the deal about that. When you're holding a low vibration, such as shame, fear, guilt, anger, trauma, any kind of traumas in your life, whether from this lifetime or another lifetime, and that hasn't been seen, dealt with, and felt, and then you try to shift from that into a higher consciousness, or maybe opening your third eye, you might start to see those energies as evil entities or demonic entities. Now, it's not that those things are there to harm you. They're, in many ways, they're there to show you what you have in your energy. A lot of times when we start to have experiences that might feel negative or dark, it is the universe giving us clues to the parts of ourselves that are still holding on to lower vibrations. So it's not to harm us or hinder us or hurt us any kind of way. It is to teach us where we're still holding on to a lower frequency. So what we need to do is face it. A lot of times what we do is we turn away or we run away from emotions. We don't like to feel certain things. And so we will try to avoid that feeling. But the one thing that you have to do to shift your vibration and to raise your vibration is to start to feel the things that you don't really like to feel. You have to sit in the feeling. You have to acknowledge the feeling, but you have to release the victimhood of the feeling. You have to release the idea that this is who I am and see it as a separate energy from your true self. Because the truth is, if we were to take off everything around us that has made us the person we are, the programming, the ideas, the beliefs, and we got down to the nitty gritty of our true original self as a spirit, none of that is a part of our spirit self. That is all just our human experience. It's just things that we have going on in the 3D world. So as we open ourselves up and we allow ourselves to feel these emotions that are really difficult, and we release those and we let them move through, our vibrations just naturally moves back into the original vibration of our true highest self. So it's not that we are rising into a new vibration, where we're moving into the original vibration of our soul, the truth of who we are. So that is how rising your vibration works. It's not necessarily that we're manifesting or discovering a new energy or vibration out there in the universe that we're then matching. It's that we're matching our original true self. And little by little by little, we become more and more and more aligned with our most authentic self, that soul self, that intuitive part of ourself, the frequency of love that we are created from source energy. So as we're shifting and rising in our vibration and letting go some of these lower frequencies, that's when our energy field starts to expand and open, and we rise into a new frequency. And that clears out the clutter that we've been holding on to that has kept us kind of in this heavy state. And when we clear out those vibration, that's when it opens up the energetic field around us and things are attracted to us easier. And we, instead of fearing our needs getting met, we trust that our needs are going to get met, that everything I desire always comes to me in the highest good. Everything that I need, the universe always supplies for me. But you can't be from that. You can't get to that point of trusting the universe in fear. You can't get there in shame. You can't get there in grief. Those vibrations will block your ability to believe and to have faith that everything always works out for your highest good. And that's where you want to get to, is trusting that the universe really does have your back. It really does want you to have your desires. And so when you allow your frequency to open up and rise and you let go of some of those lower frequencies, that is when you even open up your spiritual gifts, because your energetic field has to be expanded and opened to connect with the energies that are around you, to connect with your spirit guides, to connect with loved ones on the other side. Because when it's almost like we're trying to connect with something beyond our energetic field when we don't even know our own energy. And so we have to know our own energy to pick up the energies outside of us. But because of that heavy, dense energy that we might be holding on to, we can't feel anything other than that heavy, dense energy. So we have to deal with the heavy, dense energy first, shift that out, raise our vibration, open ourselves up to understanding and believing and aligning with our true original self. And then that it opens up the energetic field so we can rise our vibration, open up our gifts, open up manifestations, and start to attract the things into our life that are truly meant for us. So that is what rising your vibration really means. It's like letting go of a dense vibration and opening yourself up to a higher frequency and vibration, which is not anything, not who you are already. It's just you discovering more and more of your true authentic self, which is your higher self, your whole being of the light and energy that was created out of source. So as you shift in your vibration, this is kind of an automatic thing that's going to be happening on Earth with humanity as we move into the 5D, as we move into the new Earth. And that's why you might see kind of a shift happening with some humans, and other humans might not even have any clue that this is happening. And this is why it appears that there is a split happening on Earth, where the new Earth is moving in one direction and the old Earth, or the 3D Earth, is moving in a different direction. And neither of these are negative or bad. It's just the fact that there are souls here on Earth that have moved through many lifetimes, and I like to call them the souls that have more experience, or the ones that have had the education of the 3D. It's not necessarily an old soul and a young soul, because our soul doesn't really have an age. It's the experience that our soul has gone through. And so source energy is constantly creating more and more of itself. There is new souls being birthed every single moment and second of time. Like, I'm thinking about, if you've ever went and looked at the world clock, where it shows, maybe I'll link that below here, but there's a clock that you can watch where it shows the deaths and the births of every human in the world, and the numbers of humans that are in the world. And it's interesting to watch that, because it goes up and down, up and down, up and down, every single, like, faster than a second. And so that is happening also with his source energy. Source energy is constantly creating more of itself, because that is who source is a creator. Is going to, that's his desire, is to create, to think more, to create more, to be more. And so we are that energy. And so some of us that are on Earth at this time, we are literally here as kind of ambassadors, I guess you would say, or the light healers or workers to help this frequency shift, because we have learned from however many ever lifetimes that we have been here on Earth. Some of us have been here over 600 to 1,000 times before. And so if you think about a soul's experience that has had 1,000 lives, and here we are in 2025, and all those lifetimes have added up to this lifetime, we're ready to awaken. We're ready to ascend into the next frequency, because we've learned our lessons in the 3D. We've expanded our consciousness in the 3D. We've experienced it. And now we have to move into the next lesson, which is in the 5D. And many of the other galaxies and the entities and extraterrestrials, even in the universe, they have been through this process as well in some type of way, where they have experienced different frequencies and vibrations, and then they've shifted into these new energies. And so that's what humanity is doing. We are raising our vibration into the new frequency. And in that new frequency is where we are all more connected with our most authentic self, which brings in more unity and love. And the earth is going to be not necessarily different, but it's going to have a different frequency and vibration about it, where humanity is going to be more aware of how we are with each other. We're going to be more open to loving each other, more supportive of each other. Now, it doesn't mean that we're not going to have challenges. There's going to be challenges, because that's part of the experience, is to have a challenge. Without challenge, we don't grow. But the challenge is going to be different. The challenge is not necessarily going to be war or greed or lack of finances or whatever that might be. It's going to be a new way of living, where the challenge is, am I being in my highest form? Am I loving that way? Am I believing the universe supplies for me? Am I letting myself be a part of the conscious unity of earth? Is my garden growing? Like those kind of things. And so it's not necessarily that every single issue and problem is going to go away. It's just the vibration of them are going to shift, and they're not going to be as dense in where we have been. And so that's why working with energy, rising your frequency, allowing yourself to become more aligned with your most authentic self is so very important right now, because that is how the consciousness of the entire collective, those of us that are shifting into 5D, are going to be moving into that 5D energy. And so I do know that it's difficult to do some of this work, and that's why I offer my mentorship and my healing and all the things that I do to help people dive into this energy and release some of those lower dense energies or karmic cycles, and allowing yourself to really start to work through these emotions and feelings that come up for you. So if that is something that you would like support with, I do have a couple openings with my mentorship for my one-on-one work. And I would recommend, if you really truly want to do the work, that working with me weekly probably is the best option, so that we can get through some of this, because it can be intense work. But I offer a 6-month mentorship where we work through all this energy. And if you're ready and want to get serious about that, I would love to work with you if you want to reach out for that. But the main purpose of this episode is to help you understand exactly what the heck does it mean to shift in your vibration, and why is that even important. And all the things that I've just shared, that is why, is because we are aligning more with our true, most authentic self, which is our higher self. And in order to do that, we have to let go of some of that denser energy. So I hope this helped out. I would love if you would leave a comment, share, see if any of your friends would like to come to subscribe to my channel. I'm trying to grow it, moving over from other platforms, and I am so very grateful for your support. So I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. I wish you the best day, night, evening, whatever time. I send you all the universal love. Namaste.